All right. Looks like we are live on Facebook. All right. Welcome, everyone. Welcome. Today is Thursday, March 6th. We are going to be going through and we're going to be talking about healthy ways to deal with anger to avoid depression. So, if this is your first time joining me, welcome. My name is Tina. I'm a happiness coach, and I help people that are dealing with challenging emotions to transition, to change, and become happier. So, today we're going to be talking about um, dealing with anger and healthy ways to deal with anger. And oftentimes, anger is one of the stages of a grieving process, and we often get stuck in grief if we do not properly go through this stage of anger, and it can keep us stuck for a very long time. So, now what I want you guys to understand is that the stuff that I talk about here is from my personal experience. I'm sharing what I have learned, what I do as a practice for myself, in hopes that you can take something that I share, apply it to your own life, and help you shift into a happier mood. So I'm going to start with a little bit of a story of this morning. I woke up, I was like really angry and I wasn't feeling very good. I was annoyed, I was ticked off, I was just really like a bear with a sore butt. And so this morning, what I did, I got up, I had my coffee, I wrote out my gratitude list, even though I was still in this energy of anger and resentment and irritation. And so just because I'm a happiness coach doesn't mean I am happy 100% of the time. It's a matter of making sure that you feel all of your emotions to the fullest depth of your expression, okay? And with that, then you can feel the fullest depth of happiness as well. So this morning, like I said, I was not feeling very happy. And I actually wrote out as one of my gratitude bullet points was that I was happy for the anger and the resentment and the rage. Now you're thinking, Tina, why focus on such a negative aspect? Well, there is purpose to it. Okay? Your anger is not necessarily a bad thing. It's how you express your anger that can end up being a bad thing. And if you avoid it, you try to deny your anger, a couple of things will happen. Either you'll stuff it down, not pay attention to it, and then next thing you know, you're blowing up and freaking out about something that is really small that doesn't warrant that kind of reaction. And so, or the worst thing is you push it down, and next thing you know, you're depressed, but you don't know why. And for me, when I think of depression, I heard somebody express it as depression is anger turned inwards. So sometimes what ends up happening is we end up biting our tongue, not saying what we want to say because it's not okay to be angry. You can't be that angry person. So we stuff it down, we bite our tongue, we don't say anything, we let it go, we let it slide, all of these kind of things. And then next thing we know, we just feel depressed and we're not sure why. We can't really describe it. There's nothing really wrong. I mean, we've got our job, we've got our car, we've got a house, we've got family, we've got, lots of things to be grateful for, but we feel this depression. And sometimes we're not sure where that comes from. And when you take a look at what's been going on with yourself and you start doing some inner work, you may come across that you're feeling depressed because you've been repressing anger that needs to be expressed in a healthy way. And so when we're going through stages of grief, the first stage is denial. So, like I said, when you're denying those feelings that you're having, you're denying that anger, you will repress it. Now, the next stage after denial is anger. So once we become aware, once we admit how we're truly feeling about something, and grief doesn't necessarily just mean, the death of a loved one or anything like that. Sometimes it's any kind of change that happens. There's a bit of a loss. So sometimes we have to give up our old ways of being to become our new way of being. We have to adopt and adapt to changes. And so that can feel like a loss of identity, a loss of where we're living. Thank you so much for the interaction on the hearts on TikTok. I appreciate that. So you can feel that loss of just changing, and it can be a good change, something that you want, right? But it's still a change, and there's a smaller grieving period. Now, if it's somebody that was really important to you, somebody that you love deeply, and you lose them in your life, whether that's through a death or a breakup or something like that, then you can end up going through these stages at a much deeper level and going through it in waves. So after denial, the first stage is anger. And so when you get into that, you might find yourself angry that they're gone, angry that things are different, angry that things can't be the way that they used to be. And if you didn't continue to deny that, you will delay your progress. You'll delay your ability to move through this and get to a place where you can feel happy again, where you can accept what has happened without the pain and be able to release that in a way that is healthy. And you can do that in a much faster way when you're aware of what the process is and how to manage those feelings. So, like I said, this morning when I got up and I was writing through, so I went through and I tried to focus on the gratitude. That wasn't working. I was still irritated. I was still angry. I was still pissed off. And so what I had to do was I had to sit with it. So I focused on breath work. And this isn't anything fancy. It's just taking deep breaths and slowing down my breathing so that I can get myself to a calmer place. And when I can do that and I can sit with this anger, then the next thing that I will do is I will start to focus on what it is that I'm afraid of. This thing that I've been dealing with, what is it that I'm afraid of about it? And so if we're going through the stages of fear, fear is, anger is the first stage of fear, right? So it's that fight or flight kind of thing. And so when we go through that, when we become aware of what is it that I'm afraid of, and when I acknowledge what it is that I'm afraid of, then I can move to a stage where I can actually sit with that and I can visualize, okay, what is the worst case scenario? Can I accept that? And then what would I do afterwards? And so it's through accepting that anger, accepting that maybe there was a loss, maybe there was, you really wanted a certain job, you didn't get it, maybe there's all kinds of things that we go through, big losses and little losses. And so being able to understand, where is this anger coming from? What is it trying to tell us? And what is it that we need to do, and sit with that energy? So a lot of times too is when we're angry, we want to lash out. We want to hurt people because we're hurting. So we want to get our licks back. We want to tell people, give people a piece of our mind, tell them off, all of that kind of stuff. That is all energy that is within us. And when we expel that, then we end up feeling really drained. And so one of the things that I did today was I focused on, no, this anger is actually, this is my energy. I'm not going to lash out. I'm not going to drain myself. I'm going to hold on to this energy, and I'm going to use it for something useful. Because anger, if it's channeled in the correct way, can get a lot of good things done. there's a lot of things that are not good in this world, a lot of things that should make us angry. And it's through turning a blind eye to those things that should make us angry that cause a lot of things to go wrong in this world. And so we want to be able to hold on to that energy and channel it into a useful way. How can we use this excess energy? So when you're holding on to this anger, what can I do with it that is productive? And so one of the things that I did was I focused on taking that energy, and I've done this many times. So if I'm in a pissed off mood, if I am not in a good space and I'm really irritated and I have all of this excess energy in my body, I'm going to do something useful with it. And if I'm already irritated, I might as well do something that I don't really like doing, but I can take that energy and I can focus it on getting something done. So that's one of the things that I did today. So now this does not mean going and taking that out on somebody else. So if you maybe say hate and having to give your employees feedback or something, do not take your anger and channel it into giving them the feedback when you really hate doing that. No, go do something like, I don't know, maybe updating a spreadsheet or updating something in a system that you're like, oh my God, this just drives me nuts. Take that channel, that anger energy, and at least focus it on doing something that's annoying to you that you normally don't like to do. And at least that way you're burning off that energy that's stored within you. It's done in a healthy way, and you are focusing on getting something accomplished, accomplishing a task that you normally don't like to do, and maybe you sometimes procrastinate on it. So take that angry energy, channel it into something productive and useful. The other thing is too, is if you still have excess energy after you've done that, then try doing some other physical activity. Thank you so much for the gifts. I appreciate you, Maya. Thank you, thank you. So take that energy and really apply it into something physical. So that could be cleaning your house, that could be going for a walk, that could be going to the gym. I went to the gym and I did a big workout, and hey, look at this. I didn't actually have to do anything. I didn't have to rage at anybody. I didn't have to focus on complaining. I didn't have to go down this fake positivity kind of path. No, I accepted that anger. I accepted that rage. And most of it's like it was made up in my head. It was things that I thought of that I was upset haven't gone my way, and I was really annoyed, and I was like, you know, fuck this shit, I'm out. And that's okay to feel that way. But because I acknowledged it, because I understood what was going on with me, because I appreciated that energy, I was able to move through that in a much faster way. I did it in a way that didn't harm others. I did it in a way that didn't harm myself. And I don't have to sit with it or worry about that turning into depression because I've turned that anger inwards on me. Because sometimes when we get angry, what we can end up doing is we end up beating up ourselves and telling ourselves, oh, I did this wrong, I did that wrong, I shouldn't have done this, I should have said that, blah, 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 blah. And this negative track starts going on. Stop when that happens. Try to stop that. Sit with the feeling. Sit with how does that anger feel in your body? Where do you feel it in your body? Do you feel it in your jaw that you're all tensed up and you've got clenched teeth, clenched fists, clenched shoulders? See how it's always a contracted energy, right? So being able to pay attention to what's going on in your body. Is it messing up your stomach? Is it causing all kinds of, do you have back issues? Do you have some other thing going on that's really causing problems in your body? Pay attention to that and be able to release that in a proper way. Journaling also sometimes helps as well. Now, this can be something that people don't always like to do, because they're like, if I write all these things out, what if somebody reads it? Oh, thank you so much for the gifts. I really, really appreciate the interactions, the activity. Thank you. Um, and so paying attention to what's going on, writing that stuff down in a journal. If you're worried about somebody else reading it, make sure that you. Oh, wow, I think that's the first time I hit a live goal achieved. Thank you. Thank you so much. Aw, that's so sweet. Thank you. Um, so, really understanding why you're feeling a certain way, knowing that most of the time the anger that we feel is tied to a fear. Maybe we're afraid of being embarrassed. Maybe we're afraid that if I don't get this opportunity, I'm not going to get anything. Nothing better is going to come along. So pay attention to the words that we are using and what the narrative is in our own minds of what we're telling ourselves, because that will cause anger and then lead to depression if we don't address it, if we don't focus on what's really going on. So we can really catch this early on by understanding that anger is a signal that you're afraid. Maybe you're afraid because your boundaries got crossed. Maybe somebody did something that was not cool. Maybe you got betrayed, and that's an appropriate reaction to feeling angry of the betrayal. But the truth of the matter is what we really are is we are feeling hurt in that moment, because in order to be betrayed, in order to have a boundary crossed, that always has to happen with somebody that is close to us. And those are the things that end up cutting deep, and those are the things that end up causing a lot of pain in our lives. And so when we acknowledge this in a proper way, we sit with our emotions, we feel them to the fullest, we're able to move on throughout our day, and we feel happier. And so sometimes people will be like, oh, you were really angry this morning, but today you're all happy. Like, are you faking it? No, I'm not faking it. Are you bipolar? Are you BPD or whatever list of mental health issues? No, I needed to feel my feelings to the fullest extent. What I want you to do is I want you to imagine a child. A child goes throughout their day, and if something frustrates them, guess what? They get mad. They get pissed off. They might throw a toy, something, right? So now as we get older, we learn not to do certain things, but how we learn to deal with those emotions, how we learn to process those emotions is really important, because if we just get told not to feel that way and that's not acceptable, then we learn different ways of stuffing that down and not addressing it. And really understanding and feeling those feelings, feeling that frustration. Maybe you wanted to be able to do something, you couldn't do it, and you get mad, and a child will cry. Like, they'll cry that out. They'll get frustrated, they'll cry, they'll get mad, but it doesn't stop them, right? They'll try again, or they get distracted by something else, and now that thing makes them happy, and now they're happy. We don't call a child bipolar. We don't worried that there's something wrong with their mental health. No, they're expressing their emotions. Now, teaching them to do that in a way that is healthy, and if you had any developmental challenges, or you maybe just didn't get shown the right tools, then that can cause you to behave in certain ways that are not beneficial for you in the long haul. So learning what those skills are, learning how to process these emotions, and not shame yourself for feeling angry. So many times before in the past, I would shame myself for feeling angry. I shouldn't feel this way. Oh, it's not good. It's not something, you should forgive. You should do this. You should do all of this kind of stuff. And while I agree with that, you still have to feel your feelings to the fullest. Otherwise, you're going to get stuck. And when we stuff down and we stop any given emotion, whether that's fear, that's anger, that's sadness, what it's going to do is you can't stop one feeling without stopping all of them. And you will find yourself going through the motions, and next thing you'll be like, I just feel numb. Why do I feel numb? And you'll be questioning what's going on with me. And that can lead down some really dark places. I've been down those paths. They're not fun. And finding your way back from them can take a little bit of work and a lot of support. And I'm very, very grateful for the support that I've received from family, from friends, from therapists, all of that kind of stuff. For many people on TikTok or social media that have posted something that has been inspiring, uplifting, sharing their experience in an authentic way. And especially when they share the very difficult things, the challenges, the less than perfect polished images. When they share that kind of stuff, it gives me permission to feel human, that I can go through things as well. And that has been something that has been so helpful to me. And I know it's not popular, and I know it's not proper way of doing marketing, but I don't give a shit about the marketing. I don't give a shit about the sales, even though I love that stuff and I appreciate the place for it. My intent is truly to be able to help somebody out there. And I got a lot of this stuff for free. And I want to give that stuff back. Now, if you want more time with me, you want to ask questions and you want to explore certain topics in greater depth, you maybe want specific trainings, then I would invite you to consider my Daily Dose of Happiness community. That is a paid community where I will be hosting that on school platform. And this is where you guys can come in. I'll do a topic similar to this based on the needs of the group, what it is that they want to discuss, what it is that they want to go in deeper on, and I'll bring that topic up. I'll share some of my thoughts, my experience, and then you guys can share your experience. And then we can do this in a collaborative way so that we can all grow together. And you can ask questions about whatever topics that you're needing help with, that you're not feeling great about, and then you can get the help and support that you need in a small way, a daily dose of happiness, and we can see if we can help you. And just being around other like-minded people, other growth-minded people is going to help you a whole lot. And so, guys, if you are interested in that, send me a DM and I'll give you the information on how you can join the Daily Dose of Happiness community. It is a low ticket offer. If you do want to, and it's only $99 a month, so less than a takeout meal a week, and it will be a daily dose, right? So that you guys can come on. And if you go for any kind of therapy or support, it's usually at least $180. So I think $99 is a pretty good deal for just coming into a community. You can cancel at any time. So if you only want to join for a month and then you're like, no, I'm good, Tina, then carry on. That's good. Then I've helped you, you've moved on, and it's great. And so it's a rotating community. Now, if you want more in-depth one-on-one coaching, then, and you want more of a structured plan and specific training and one-on-one time with me, then that is something that we would have to get on a call with, and we would have to talk about what it is that you're expecting out of it and whether or not I can actually help you. I want to be very careful. I'm not a trained therapist. I am somebody who has been through a lot in my life, and I want to share with other people how they can move through those experiences and be able to get to the other side and feel happier, or at least have the tools so that they can work through it. So guys, that's what I want to share with you. So if you want to know more about my coaching program or my one-on-one, then let me know and I will give you that information. So that is the training for today. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, come back again tomorrow, bring a friend, and we'll see if we can help more people be happy. All right. Thanks, guys. Have a great day. Bye. Thank you so much, Maya. I really appreciate all the gifts. It is definitely noticed. Thank you.